When you turn on a game, you see a bunch of stuff. Some of it you'll recognize. Studio logos, publisher names. Other things you'll rightfully gloss over, like these paragraphs of legal jargon. And then there are the things that make you go, who is this terrible little octopus, and why is he in all of my games? I was tired of wondering, so I figured it out. Welcome to Polygon's comprehensive guide to the first 15 seconds of every game. Let's start with the easy stuff. Typically, one of the first logos you'll see is for a game's engine. In simple terms, an engine is a set of software tools that the devs used to make the game. Some of them are tied to specific publishers or studios like Capcom's RE Engine, Ubisoft's Anvil, or DICE's Frostbite. Or a developer might license a publisher-agnostic engine like Unreal or Unity. A game's engine can do a lot, but it can't do everything. And that is where the little logos come in. You ever wonder how they get those little pre-rendered movies into games? Probably not. You probably just assumed they dragged an MOV file into halo.exe and it just played. But it's actually kind of tricky. That game isn't running QuickTime Player, and video files take up a lot of megabytes. BINC is a proprietary video codec that solves these problems. Devs use it to crunch a big, full-motion video sequence into a much smaller file, in this case a .bic or .b2k. They stick that on the disc, and when it's time to play the movie, those same BINC tools reinterpret the files into something that looks close enough to the uncompressed original. You just got BINC'd. Compression isn't just for video. Pretty much all data can be unembiggened, which is great because nobody has unlimited hard drive space. That's where this thing comes in. A quick exercise. Take a look at this logo. You'll now have 5 seconds to leave a comment and let us know what you think it says. If you guessed noodle, woodle, woulier, wool, or anything other than oodle, you're wrong. It's just oodle. The octopus is silent. Oodle takes data, textures, and images and makes them a whole lot smaller. Then when the game needs a chunk of that stuff, Oodle decompresses it very, very quickly. Oodle also offers network compression, the rapid unembiggening of the individual packets of data that get sent back and forth when you're connected to an online game. In Surgeon Simulator 2, for example, there's a whole lot of positional and physics data that needs to stay in sync across 4 networked players. If that data were raw, it would clog up your internet pipes really fast, and there'd be shit everywhere. The best thing about Oodle is that it's an incredibly powerful industry-standard tool with an industry-worst logo. That means any studio that wants to use Oodle enters a devil's bargain where they gain incredible power, but they have to bear a mark of true evil. This shitty fucking octopus is going to be on the splash screen of every game for the next 10 years. Since the days of Counter-Strike, yelling and getting yelled at on voice comms has been a cornerstone of online gaming. But not every studio has the resources or time to program their own voice-over IP comm system and keep the servers online. So Vivox fills that gap. Vivox is the secret Skype that lets you scheme to kill and eat your crewmates in dread hunger. And we love it. Cryware is a set of audio-visual tools for game development. The video side of the package is pretty much like BINC, except it can play files that were encoded with .h.264. That's one of the most common file formats for digital video distribution. Isn't that interesting? You gotta tell me that's interesting because it's my job to know that stuff. The Sound Suite lets devs create audio cues in an environment that anyone familiar with digital audio production would be comfy in. But since it's integrated into the gameplay engine, stuff that happens in the game can alter how those cues play back. Devs can say, okay, if this attack lands while Heihachi is in rage mode, play the normal cue, but with reverb. Tools like this are super important because they're a middle ground between art teams and programmers. You could definitely use code to change the playback properties of a sound file, but the product is going to be better overall if an audio expert can get in there and mess around. Wwise is very similar, but it's called Wwise. 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 If graphic design is your passion, you're probably already a prisoner in the Adobe Creative Suite. It is the very expensive standard toolbox for visual designers. It's been around for decades, and we can't escape it. For a game studio, creating tools that replicate its endless functions would be a nightmare. And for the artists, learning those new tools would be a pain in the ass. Enter Scaleform, a tool set that lets designers create menus and UI elements in Photoshop, Illustrator, and Flash, then imports their work into the game engine. The good news is we all save some time. The bad news is there is no escape from the Creative Cloud. Quixel Megascans is a Super Saiyan 4 Getty images that integrates directly with the game engine. It's got hyper-detailed 3D objects like stones and vegetation and furniture, and lots of textures, blemishes, and decals. So let's say a level artist needs a pile of rubble next to an old house. They can either go outside and find the perfect reference and take photos and meticulously model dozens of unique little chunks, or they can just drag one over from Megascans. Scans and stock textures have been a time-saving measure in games and video production for decades. But as AAA game worlds keep getting more and more detailed, these libraries are becoming essential. Simplygon helps 3D games run better. Every polygon rendered on a screen takes up processing power, so devs are always looking to optimize. Simplygon makes that easier. It can automatically turn a 3D object into a flat billboard or collection of billboards. It can simplify animations by removing unnecessary bones. It can aggregate loose assets into single objects. It can even unrender parts of a 3D model that aren't visible to the player to save resources. That's right, the backside of every house, hill, and human you've ever seen could be hollow, and you'd never know. I could be hollow right now, and I wouldn't tell you. Games have got a lot of fucking trees in them, and trees are complicated. You need to have an understanding of growth patterns, leaf coloration, limb flexibility, and more. That's why every single game studio in the world employs a full team of arborists. No, just kidding, they use SpeedTree. SpeedTree is a suite of tools that lets level artists build realistic, or not very realistic, trees to their exact specifications, and quickly. They can control shape, leaf count, texture, color, and a lot more. And the trees aren't just static objects. They can realistically react to the wind or impacts. Damn. You ever just look at a tree? TrueSky is like SpeedTree, but for the sky. Damn. You ever just look at a cloud? Easy Anti-Cheat is a service that devs use to mitigate rule breaking in online games. It scans for cheaters with a handful of methods. Sometimes it's as simple as identifying flagrant violations of the game's rules, like noticing if a player is moving way too fast or stacking up an impossible score. Other operations are clandestine. Easy Anti-Cheat has people sneaking around the dark web, infiltrating illicit cheat dens, so they can identify and block specific tools. There are other services that do mostly the same thing and have fun little logos, but nobody will ever beat the mostly defunct Punkbuster. Havok models real-time physics and collision, and it is the best thing to ever happen to video games. When you shoot a guy in Max Payne 2 and he flops over a pile of boxes and into a shelf of decorative thimbles, that's Havok. When you combat roll through a room full of chairs in Dark Souls, that is Havok. I love this Havok, thank you for my life. Researching this video was a great reminder of how much stuff there is to consider while making a game, from physics to tree growth to clouds, and how utterly exhausting it would be to make it all from scratch. So next time you're furiously mashing through the title cards of Fortnite, take a moment to appreciate the middleware heroes who make games possible. And remember the wise words of Ina Garten. Sometimes, store-bought is fine. So there's your guide to the first 15 seconds of every game. Good luck with the stuff that comes after.